Whatever your mind can conceive and believe, your mind can achieve. Develop definiteness of purpose. Your progress toward success begins with a fundamental question: where are you going? Definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement, and its lack is the stumbling block for 98 out of every 100 people, simply because they never really define their goals and start toward them. Study every person you can think of who has achieved lasting success, and you will find that each one has had a definite major purpose. Each had a plan for reaching that goal, and each devoted the greatest part of his or her thoughts and efforts to that end. Andrew Carnegie was the man who led me to formulate my definite major purpose, assembling and publicizing the principles by which great individuals achieve enduring success. Carnegie started work as a laborer in a steel mill. Because of his definite major purpose to make and market better quality steel than anyone else, he became one of the wealthiest men in the country, was able to endow libraries in small towns all across America. His definite major goal was more than a wish. It was a burning desire. Only by finding your own burning desire will you achieve success. The difference between a wish and a burning desire is crucial. Everyone wants the better things in life: money, fame, respect. But most people never go beyond just wishing for them. If you know what you want from life, if you are determined to get it to the point that it becomes an obsession, and you back that obsession with continuous effort and sound planning, then you have awakened and developed definiteness of purpose. A valuable secret. The most important part of this book is not written on its pages, but is already in your own mind. Once you learn how to harness the tremendous potential of your mind, and how to organize the knowledge you already have, you can turn them into the power necessary for attaining your definite major purpose. There is a proverb which says, "If you would plant for days, plant flowers. If you would plant for years, plant trees. If you would plant for eternity, plant ideas." This book has been written to induce a flow of ideas through your mind. It will introduce you to your other self, the self which has a vision of your innate spiritual powers. It will not accept or recognize failure. It will arouse your determination to go forth and claim the things which are rightfully yours. As Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, "One single idea may have greater weight than the labors of all the men, animals, and engines for a century." Put ideas and your definiteness of purpose to work. The advantages of definiteness of purpose. Definiteness of purpose develops self-reliance, personal initiative, imagination, enthusiasm, self-discipline, and concentrated effort. All these are required for success. Throughout this book, you will learn in greater detail just what these qualities entail, how they are acquired, developed, and incorporated into your plan for success. Definiteness of purpose also brings a host of other advantages. Specialization. Definiteness of purpose encourages you to specialize, and specialization leads to perfection. Your success in life will depend a great deal on your ability to know much about a specific area and to perform exceptionally within it. General education is important because by pursuing it, you will discover your basic aptitudes and desires. Once you have discerned them, however, you should immediately begin to acquire specialized knowledge in your major interest. Definiteness of purpose will act as a magnet to attract to you the specialized knowledge necessary for success. Budgeting time and money. Once you have determined your definite major purpose, you will begin to budget your time and your money and all your day-to-day endeavors so that they will lead to the attainment of your major purpose. Time budgeting always pays dividends because each moment is made to progress toward your goal. Money is also used to its best advantage ensuring that you pass the mileposts along the road to success. Alertness to opportunity. Definiteness of purpose makes you aware of opportunities related to your major purpose, and it inspires the courage to act on them. Edward Bok was an immigrant to this country who set out to make his living by writing. He began a flourishing business writing short biographies, which employed 6 people. One evening at the theater, he noticed that the programs were large and cumbersome, poorly printed, and unattractive. On the spot, he conceived the idea of producing a smaller program, easier to hold, better looking, and including appealing reading matter. Next morning, he prepared a sample copy of his proposed program and presented it to the theater manager. Not only would he provide the theater with a better program, but he would do it free in exchange for the exclusive rights. Advertising would pay his costs and bring him profit. The theater agreed, and Bok went into partnership with a friend more experienced than he in publishing and advertising. They quickly signed up all the other theaters in town to avoid competition. The business thrived and eventually expanded to create several other magazines, while Bok became the editor of the Ladies' Home Journal. If you can see an opportunity as quickly as you can see the faults of others, you will soon succeed. Decision-making capability. Successful people make decisions quickly, as soon as all the facts are available, and firmly. Unsuccessful people make decisions slowly, and they change them often. Remember that 98 out of 100 people never make up their mind about their major purpose in life. They simply can't make a decision and stick to it. How can you overcome the habit of avoiding decisions? Start with the very next problem you face and make a decision. Make any decision. Any decision is better than none. If you make some mistakes at first, take courage. Your batting average will improve. Knowing what you want will help in decision-making, of course, because you can always judge whether or not it will contribute to your goals. Cooperation. Definiteness of purpose develops confidence in your own integrity and character, which attracts favorable attention from others and inspires their cooperation. Those 98 folks who can't determine their major goal will be inspired by one who can. And those few who, like you, have embarked on their journey will recognize and want to aid a fellow traveler. Faith. The greatest benefit of definiteness of purpose is that it opens your mind to the quality known as faith. It makes your mind positive and frees it from the limitations of doubt, discouragement, indecision, and procrastination. These limitations are some of the greatest roadblocks you will face. Later chapters will specifically address overcoming them, but possessing faith in yourself and in the fact the universe is constructed to allow you to achieve your greatest potential will help you starting now. Success consciousness. Closely related to faith is success consciousness. Your mind becomes sold on success and refuses to accept the possibility of failure. A young man lived in Salt Lake City many years ago. He was industrious, thrifty, and much admired. Then he did something which convinced his friends he had taken leave of his senses. He withdrew all his money from the bank, went to an automobile show in New York, and returned with a new car. Worse, as soon as he got home, he put that car in his garage, jacked it up, and proceeded to take it apart, piece by piece. After examining every piece, he put the car back together again. The folks who were watching him thought he was just plain wacky. They were further convinced that he was mad when he began the process again, and again, and again. That man was Walter P. Chrysler, whose innovations revolutionized the automobile industry. There aren't any major corporations or skyscrapers named for his Salt Lake City neighbors who lacked the insight to see the method in his madness. They had never heard of definiteness of purpose, and they couldn't recognize how success consciousness destines a person for success. The power of the subconscious. Any dominating idea, plan, or purpose held in your conscious mind through repeated effort and emotionalized by a burning desire for its realization is taken over by the subconscious and acted upon through whatever natural and logical means may be available. The only thing over which you have complete right of control at all times is your mental attitude. Right of control means that you can control it. It does not mean that you do control it. You must learn to exercise this right as a matter of habit. The conscious mind is where reasoning and thinking occur. It analyzes information and data, and it acts as a guardian of the doorway to the subconscious. The conscious mind develops as a result of experience. The subconscious mind does not think, reason, or deliberate. It acts instinctively in response to basic emotions. The differences in people are due to the ways they have trained their conscious minds. Subconsciously, we are all very much alike. The subconscious can be compared with a car, while the conscious mind can be considered the driver. The power is in the car, not the driver. The driver must learn to release and direct that power. The subconscious mind receives any image that is transferred to it by the conscious mind under strong emotion. Think of the pair as a camera. The conscious mind acts as a lens, concentrating the image of your desires and bringing them to a point on the film of the subconscious. Getting good pictures with this camera is the same as it is with any other. The focus must be sharp, there must be good exposure, and the timing must be right. Correct focus requires a clear definition of purpose. The composition of the photo must be made with care and precision. You decide what to include in the frame. The proper timing is determined by the intensity of your desire at the moment of exposure. Experienced photographers rarely take just one shot of an important image. They work at it again and again until they get the photo they want. This sort of repeated exposure of the subconscious to the image of your desire is crucial. You must work at the process repeatedly until you have transferred the exact image you want into your subconscious mind. Don't be afraid of working yourself up into a highly emotional state when you are impressing images upon your subconscious. When your purpose is a worthy one, you don't need to fear this type of auto-suggestion. The intensity with which you impress your subconscious with a picture of your plan directly affects the speed with which the subconscious will go to work and attract the picture's physical counterpart by inspiring you to take the right steps. Putting definiteness of purpose to work. Making your subconscious work for you is only the first of many steps. You will not succeed if you cannot convince other people to cooperate with you and if you do not live in accordance with strict standards. Those standards form the remainder of this book. But let's assume you have developed the necessary definiteness of purpose. You are now likely to ask an obvious question. Where do I get the resources to implement my plan? The first step from poverty to riches is the most difficult. The key is to realize that all the riches and all the material goods that you acquire through your own efforts begin with your having a clear, concise picture of what you seek. When that picture grows to be an obsession with you, you will find that your every action leads you toward its acquisition. Andrew Carnegie's life again provides an excellent example. Once he knew he wanted to make steel, he fed that desire until it was the driving force in his life. He then turned to a friend, similarly broke but smart enough to recognize the value of his idea. Because he was impressed by the power of Carnegie's obsession, the friend joined forces with Carnegie. Their combined enthusiasm was sufficient to convince two others. These four people became the nucleus of Carnegie's empire. They formed a mastermind group, the subject of the next chapter. Together they were able to find the capital necessary to pursue Carnegie's obsession, and each of them made a vast fortune as a result. It was not sheer hard work that made these men successful. You probably know several people who work as hard as you do at anything they try, perhaps even harder than you, and are never successful. Education isn't the reason either. Sam Walton never won a Rhodes Scholarship, but he made more money than anyone who ever studied at Oxford. Great success is the result of one's understanding and using a positive mental attitude, PMA. Your mental attitude gives power to everything you do. Having a positive mental attitude means that your actions and thoughts further your ends. Having a negative mental attitude means that you are constantly undermining your own efforts. As you build your desire into an obsession and develop definiteness of purpose, you will also build and develop your positive mental attitude. It would be foolish to suppose that having developed your definiteness of purpose and PMA, you will immediately find that you have the resources you need. The speed at which you acquire these will depend on the size of your needs and on the control you exercise to keep your mind free of fear, doubt, and self-imposed limitations. If you need $10,000 for your definite major purpose, you may be able to marshal it in a few days or even hours by impressing others with the quality of your enthusiasm and vision. If you require $1 million, it's likely to take longer. An important variable in this process is just exactly what it is you offer in exchange for that $10,000 or $1 million. The time required to deliver the service or the equivalent value you intend to supply is also significant. You must be clear about what it is that you will give before you can expect to get in return. Creating a plan. No one gets something for nothing. People who have money to give will expect to receive something in return, a product, a service, an increase in their own capital. You will not be successful overnight. In fact, you will not be successful until you have returned to everyone who has aided you everything that he or she is due. Your definite major purpose must include provisions for doing this. You may be nodding your head in agreement with this and deciding you will surely make this happen. But unless you have an extraordinarily disciplined mind, it is not enough to envision this part and every other part of your plan. You must write them down. Writing out your definite major purpose forces you to be specific about it. It reminds you of its strengths and will expose its weaknesses. If you cannot put what it is you're going to do into words, it's probably because you are not as sure about it as you think. Once you have written your plan, read it aloud to yourself at least once every day. This fuels your obsession and reinforces its nature in your mind. When you face a choice about how to proceed, having your written definite major purpose to read will clarify your goals and make sure that you continue to progress toward them. Even better, once you have assembled your mastermind group, you ensure that everyone stays focused on the same ends by use of a written plan. No single mind is complete. No one person can answer every question. But two or more minds, united behind a definite major purpose and working in harmony to achieve it, will accomplish great things. There are numerous examples of this power. Christ himself made an alliance with his disciples to carry out his work. The plan was his own, but it survived betrayal and his absence to achieve a success beyond human comprehension. Success is a worthy goal. Striving for success has its detractors. Some people will argue that those who acquire wealth do so at the expense of the people who work for them. But if you are going to achieve success, you will do so only by extraordinary effort that most people are not willing to make. People seldom profit by having money unless they earn it. How many times have you read about lottery winners who find themselves bankrupt only a few years after their windfalls? Or about heirs to great fortunes reared in atmospheres of indulgence who fall prey to addictions like alcohol or gambling? The value of the wealth that comes with success is that it carries with it the lessons you have learned in acquiring it. You will learn in achieving wealth that success comes about only because you are willing to assume great responsibility and to deliver unfailingly goods and services which are truly valuable. Most people would not choose to be as dedicated to a definite major purpose as you must be. If you were to accumulate a fortune, then offer it to them on the condition that they behave exactly as you have done, most would not accept the responsibility, but some would. It is the people who would make such a choice who will be most helpful to you. They can offer you aid of untold value, far above and beyond the efforts of those who are easily contented. They will become indispensable to you by their willingness to assume responsibility and relieve you of some of the load you are carrying. You must be willing to reward them generously for their efforts. People like this learn that they set their own salaries by the quality of their work. Everyone, in fact, does the same. A person's salary is determined by the sort of service he or she renders, the quantity and quality of that service, plus the mental attitude under which it is rendered. If millions of people are struggling to get by on the salaries they earn, it is because their highest aim is only to hold the jobs that they currently have. They are where they are, and they are making what they make solely because of the limitations they have set up in their own minds. Creating opportunity. There is a theory which pops up again and again that the opportunities for success are fewer now than they were in the past, that our nation has reached the plateau of its success, that the world is dominated by people who already have money, and that success is a finite realm already filled to capacity. This is nothing more than a theory. There is no scarcity of opportunity. There is only a shortage of imagination. Countless people gain new wealth every year, whether the economy is prospering or ailing. The only limits they recognize are those within their own minds. Anyone who cries, "No opportunity," is simply issuing an alibi for his or her own unwillingness to assume responsibility and use imagination. Offering a useful good or service is just as valuable now as it ever was, and new areas in which to do so open up every day. Consider Home Depot, which stood the idea of the corner hardware store on its head by offering a huge selection of items at low prices. Bed Bath & Beyond has done the same thing in its market. Robert Johnson founded Black Entertainment Television, targeting a market that the major networks only served part of the time. All these were unusual ideas in their time, yet they have been enormously successful in areas no one would have imagined a decade before. There's a story about a congressman around the turn of the century who wanted to introduce a bill to close the patent office on the ground that there was nothing else to be patented. Everything worthwhile had already been invented. If you laugh at that idea, then laugh again at anyone who tells you that the days of opportunity are over. The pursuit of opportunity has given this country its strength. If you lose yourself in an obsessional desire to make yourself useful to others, you will find yourself through the recognition of the good you are doing. If you forget that you must make yourself useful to others, you will stray from the path to success, no matter how long you have already walked it. Consider for a moment those great blue-chip companies such as IBM, which have learned such a lesson at their peril. For years, IBM made itself indispensable to business operators, large and small, by producing high-quality machines to run their offices. Then IBM turned its eyes only to making big, powerful computers, while its customers were looking for small, personal units for each employee. Profits plummeted. Employees were laid off for the first time in company history, and IBM was faced with completely remaking itself in an industry it had once dominated. What IBM lost was the desire for knowledge and the willingness to earn it. Its people had stopped wondering what it was their customers wanted, and they didn't bother to find out. Dozens of smaller computer manufacturers possessed of that quality stepped in and made fortunes. Write that quality into your definite major purpose and never overlook its value. Your achievements, like a company's, correspond unerringly to the philosophy with which you relate to others. If you follow through on your willingness to deliver something useful in return for what you seek, the world will be compelled to reward you on your own terms. Recognition of this fact is at the heart of what has made America great. Our most precious natural resource is not our mineral deposits or our beautiful forests. It is the mental attitude and the imagination of the people of every generation who have mixed experience with education to deliver goods and services that improve the lives of both Americans and people around the world. Our real wealth is the intangible power of thought. This is why definiteness of purpose heads the list of the 17 principles you must master to achieve success. You can overcome almost any obstacle you face, no matter what your own education or talents, if you use the mastermind principle effectively. No one has ever attained outstanding success in anything without applying the mastermind principle. No one mind is complete by itself. All truly great minds have been reinforced through contact with others that allowed them to grow and expand. Forming a mastermind alliance. For a model of a mastermind alliance at work, consider a train crew. The conductor, you, can take the train to its destination only because all the other members of the train crew recognize and respect your authority. What would happen if the conductor failed to signal the engineer that it was time to start? Passengers would abandon the train and find some other way to get where they wanted to go. If the engineer didn't bother to heed the signals along the track, the resulting crash could cost lives. For your mastermind alliance to function properly, you must give clear, unmistakable signals to your crew. They, in turn, need to be willing to cooperate fully with you. There are 4 simple steps to making sure this is the case. Step 1. Determine your purpose. The first step in putting together a mastermind alliance is to adopt a definite purpose for it to attain. Who would board a train without knowing where it went? Obviously, you cannot do this if you have not yet selected your own definite major purpose. You must be certain that the purpose of the alliance is either the same as yours or very closely aligned. If you have already written out your own definite major purpose and the means you will use to attain it, this step will be familiar for you. Writing out the plan for your alliance's success will make you aware of every one of the links of the chain you must forge. Inevitably, there will be links you have neither the skill nor the resources to join yourself, just as the conductor cannot simultaneously collect fares, work the dining car, and keep a hand on the throttle. This brings you to your second step. Step 2. Select the members of your alliance. Choosing the people who will help you attain your goal must be done carefully. You may initially select some people who you later decide are not appropriate, and you may discover that there are unanticipated needs for knowledge that must be filled. Trial and error will be a part of the process, but there are 2 qualities to keep foremost in your mind that will help you to avoid too many surprises. The first is ability to do the job. Do not select people for your alliance merely because you like and know them. Such people are valuable to you because they improve the quality of your life, but they are not necessarily suited to be a mastermind alliance. Your best friend may not be the most knowledgeable marketing professional in your area, but perhaps he can introduce you to someone who is. The other quality is the ability to work in a spirit of harmony with others. Without harmony, your alliance will falter, perhaps not right away, but at some crucial moment when everything is about to be won or lost. Andrew Carnegie once told me of a worldwide search he conducted for his chief chemist. His scouts found a brilliant man working for a German firm. His ability was without question. Carnegie entered into a 5-year contract for the man's services. Within a year, he had released the man from the bargain. Why? Because the chemist was so temperamental that he had an entire department in upheaval. None of the other chemists could work with him, and the fellow was so concerned with perceived slights that he spent all his time fuming and accomplished nothing. You must keep any thoughts of discord out of your alliance. There must be a complete meeting of the minds, without any reservations on the part of any member. Personal ambitions must be subordinate to the fulfillment and successful achievement of the definite purpose of the alliance. This includes your own. Being clear about your alliance's purpose will give you a basis for judging someone's ability to work in harmony with it. You may still have to make adjustments in the alliance's composition, but there are also steps you must take to build that harmony. Step 3. Determine your rewards. Clearly determined rewards for participation in your mastermind alliance are an important factor in its harmony. Determine at the outset what rewards you are offering in return for the work of others, and there will be little room for later recrimination. There are 10 basic motives toward action that can be the basis of these rewards. 1. Self-preservation. 2. Love. 3. Fear. 4. Sex. 5. Desire for life after death. 6. Freedom for mind and body. 7. Anger. 8. Hate. 9. Desire for recognition and self-expression. 10. Wealth. Wealth will obviously have the greatest appeal for members of your commercial enterprise, but remember that other motives can play an important role. Recognition and self-expression are just as important as money to many people. Be aware that some of these motives, anger, hate, fear, can twist the minds of your team if you rely upon them. Your best motivator, wealth, must be willingly, fairly, and generously divided among your team. The more generous you are, the more help you will get. Another of the principles of success is the habit of going the extra mile. You'll see that in Chapter 5. It will serve you well if you incorporate it into your alliance from the beginning. 12. Inspire teamwork with PMA. Teamwork is a willing cooperation and the coordination of effort to achieve a specific objective. When the spirit of teamwork is willing, voluntary, and free, it leads to the attainment of great and enduring power. It is a system which coordinates all the team players, resources, and talents and automatically discourages dishonesty and unfairness, while it adequately compensates the individuals who serve honestly and unselfishly. The principle of teamwork differs from the mastermind principle in that it is based on the coordination of effort without necessarily embracing the principle of definiteness of purpose or the principle of harmony, two important essentials of the mastermind. Teamwork produces power, but the question of whether the power is temporary or permanent depends on the motive that inspired the cooperation. If the motive is one that inspires people to cooperate willingly, the power produced by this sort of teamwork will endure as long as that spirit of willingness prevails. Teamwork builds individuals and businesses and provides unlimited opportunity for all. It is sharing a part of what you have, a part that is good, with others. That which you share will multiply. That which you withhold will diminish. Stop the tape now and write your commitment to use this principle in your life. Then restart the tape. 13. Learn from adversity and defeat with PMA. Every adversity carries with it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit for those who have PMA and apply it. Defeat may be a stepping stone or a stumbling block, according to your mental attitude and how you relate it to yourself. It is never the same as failure unless and until it has been accepted as such. Your mental attitude in respect to defeat is the factor of major importance which determines whether you ride with tides of fortune or misfortune. The person with a positive mental attitude reacts to defeat in the spirit of determination not to accept it. The person with a negative mental attitude reacts to defeat in the spirit of hopeless acceptance. The worst thing that happens to you may be the best thing that can happen to you if you don't let it get the best of you. Stop the tape now. Write your commitment to use this principle in your life, then restart the tape. "14. Cultivate creative vision with PMA. Man's greatest gift is his thinking mind. It analyzes, compares, chooses. It creates, visualizes, foresees, and generates ideas. Imagination is your mind's exercise, challenge, and adventure. It is the key to all of a person's achievements, the mainspring of all human endeavor, the secret door to the soul of a person. Imagination inspires human endeavor in connection with material things, and ideas associated with material things. Imagination is the workshop of the human mind, where old ideas and established facts may be assembled into new combinations and put to new uses. It is the act of constructive intellect in the grouping of materials, knowledge, or thoughts into new, original, and rational systems, a constructive or creative faculty embracing poetic, artistic, philosophical, scientific, and ethical imagination. Creative vision may be an inborn quality of the mind or an acquired quality, or it may be developed by the free and fearless use of the faculty of imagination. Creative vision extends beyond interest in material things. It judges the future by the past and concerns itself with the future more than with the past. Imagination is influenced and controlled by the powers of reason and experience. Creative vision pushes these aside and attains its ends by basically new ideas and methods. One of the ways to increase your flow of ideas is by developing the habit of taking study time, thinking time, and planning time. Be quiet and motionless, and listen for that small, still voice that speaks from within as you contemplate the ways in which you can achieve your objectives. What can be conceived can be created with PMA. Stop the tape now and write your commitment to use this principle in your life. Then restart the tape. 15. Maintain sound health with PMA. You are a mind with a body. Inasmuch as your brain controls your body, recognize that sound physical health demands a positive mental attitude, a health consciousness. Establish good, well-balanced health habits in work, play, rest, nourishment, and study. To maintain a health consciousness, think in terms of good physical health, not in terms of illness or disease. Remember, what your mind focuses upon, your mind brings into existence, whether it is financial success or physical health. To maintain a positive attitude for the development and maintenance of a sound health consciousness, use self-discipline. Keep your mind free of negative thoughts and influence, and create and maintain a well-balanced life. Follow work with play, mental effort with physical effort, seriousness with humor. You will be on the road to good health and happiness. A sound mind and a sound body are attainable if you will put PMA to work for you. Remember, you can enjoy good health and live longer with PMA. I feel healthy. I feel happy. I feel terrific. Stop the tape. Write your commitment to use this principle in your life, then restart the tape. 16. Budget your time and money with PMA. Intelligently balance your use of time and resources, both business and personal. Take inventory of yourself and your activities so that you discover where and how you are spending your time and your money. Engage in study, thinking, and planning time. Don't waste your time or your money. 10% of all you earn is yours to keep and invest. Like any good business, budget your money. Use your time wisely toward attainment of your objectives. Develop a plan for the use of your income for expenses, savings, and investments. You don't always get what you expect unless you inspect with PMA. Stop the tape now and write your commitment to use this principle in your life. Then restart the tape. 17. Use cosmic habit force with PMA. Cosmic habit force pertains to the entire universe and is the law by which the equilibrium of the universe is maintained through established patterns or habits. It is the law which forces every living creature and every particle of matter to come under the dominating influence of its environment, including the physical habits and thought habits of humankind. Cosmic habit forces are the powers which you apply with PMA when you use the universal laws or principles. Cosmic habit forces are employed when you use your mind powers, whether they pertain to your conscious or subconscious mind. That is how you think and grow richer or achieve anything in life you desire, in principle, that doesn't violate the laws of God or the rights of your fellow man. All of us are ruled by habits. These are fastened upon us by repeated thoughts and experiences. You have complete right of control over your thoughts. We create patterns of thought by repeating certain ideas or behavior until the law of cosmic habit force takes over those patterns and makes them more or less permanent, unless or until you consciously rearrange them. Acknowledgments. Many people were very helpful to me in editing this book. I am particularly grateful for the inspiration of two men who knew Napoleon Hill well and whose words reinforced his, W. Clement Stone and Michael J. Ritt. There are many people, organizations, and publications dedicated to promoting the philosophy of success. In addition to those mentioned in the text, I found the following particularly helpful in selecting examples that highlighted the wisdom of Napoleon Hill's advice: Audacity, Entrepreneur, Working Woman, Smart Money, Sales and Marketing Management, The New Yorker, and Minorities and Women in Business magazines. The Walls Around Us by David Owen, Michael Mahana of Smith Barney Shearson. Upon request, you may receive an autographed bookplate bearing the signature of the author. Address your request to the Napoleon Hill Foundation, 1440 Paddock Drive, Northbrook, Illinois, 60062, and enclose a large, self-addressed stamped envelope. With this bookplate, you will receive a copy of one of Dr. Hill's famous success essays. Step 4. Set a time and place for meeting. Your alliance must be active to do any good. Establish a definite place and time for regular meetings to ensure that you are making progress and dealing with the issues you face. Your early meetings will likely involve fine-tuning the plan you have made for your success, drawing upon the specialized skills of your members. As your alliance matures and harmony grows among the members, you will find that these meetings create a flow of ideas into every member's mind. As you work together over time, more excitement will greet every meeting, and more harmony will arise. Think about a group of sales reps brought together for a conference. They may arrive in general agreement about their goals, but a day or a weekend spent reinforcing their determination, listening to and incorporating their suggestions for the plan at hand, will send them away fired up and eager to achieve their goals. Do not let the regular meetings take the place of frequent contact between the members. Telephone calls, notes, and even conversations in a hallway will keep the alliance primed for action when it meets in full, so that sudden developments can be addressed quickly. Maintaining your alliance. The harmony of your alliance is built upon the mutual agreement on your definite purpose. But like any construction, it must be preserved with diligent work. That work will be your task as its leader. Your attention should focus on 4 areas. Confidence. Confidence is reliance or trust based on proved fidelity, which means faithfulness to duty and loyalty to obligation. As the leader of the alliance, you must inspire confidence in your members by your dedication to your definite major purpose. You must also insist within the group on confidentiality. Often it is harmful for members to discuss the purpose of the alliance outside the group. Some people can give away a secret without a moment's thought. You don't need them in your mastermind alliance. Understanding. All members of the group must possess a complete knowledge and comprehension of the nature, significance, and implication of a situation or proposition that the group faces. You may employ specialists to heighten your understanding of various fields, but every person involved must be able to deal with the core issues of every decision. And before a decision is made, each member of your group must be convinced that it is a good decision, one which he or she can support wholeheartedly.